So, the Indiana Fever just signed somebody. I'm kind of surprised the Indiana Fever signed somebody, like, today. So they signed someone to a 7-day contract, which means, did they waive somebody? Did the Fever not have to waive somebody to do that? Which means somebody's probably getting waived.
The moment everyone feared has finally arrived. The Indiana Fever are openly shopping for Caitlin Clark replacements. And they're not even trying to hide it. Let's be real. Indiana knows something the rest of us don't.
Point guard. And my brain goes two different ways on this. Either one, the Fever weren't so happy with Odyssey Sims' performance in her first game with the Indiana Fever. And I think a lot of fans were underwhelmed. However, Odyssey Sims had a high bar to clear because Ari McDonald, when she came to the Indiana Fever, she immediately made an impact and played great right away. Odyssey Sims did not have a great game in that last game whatsoever. And so are they signing her to challenge Odyssey Sims and see who plays better? Or are they signing her because they know that Caitlin Clark is not going to be returning this season and they're going to need another point guard for this last stretch of games and going into playoffs?
In just 1 week, they signed not one but 2 point guards. First, Odyssey Sims joined on a hardship contract. And if that isn't front office code for we're in deep trouble, I don't know what is.
Get into this. The Indiana Fever welcome Kyra Lambert to the team. Another point guard with Sydney out, with Ari out, with Caitlin Clark's return. Who the heck knows at this point? We need some point guards on this team. Odyssey Sims, she played this past Tuesday. Looked like she haven't picked up a basketball in months. Now we go out and get Kyra Lambert.
Then, only days later, they picked up Kyra Lambert on a 7-day deal. 2 point guards. 2 desperate signings. 1 clear message. They're preparing for life without Caitlin Clark, and they don't expect her back anytime soon.
Lambert has never played in the WNBA before, yet the Fever did have room to add another player on a hardship deal. So Lambert, it was announced by the team, has been brought in. This is what the press release itself says, so I'll let them set the context for you. The Indiana Fever have signed guard Kyra Lambert to a 7-day contract the team announced today. The Fever qualify for the roster spot due to the injuries to Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald. Lambert has spent the entirety of her professional career playing in Europe, most recently with Olympiacos, where she won the Greek A1 League. During that season, Lambert averaged 15.4 points per game while shooting 42.1% from beyond the arc. Good.
If you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to hit subscribe. Now here's the harsh truth no one wants to say out loud. Caitlin Clark has already missed 21 games this season due to injuries. That's not a setback. That's a flashing red warning sign. Since opening night, she's dealt with a quad strain, a left groin issue, and now a right groin injury. Instead of leading her team, she's been stuck on the sideline, watching her own career like it's on life support.
They have signed a player from overseas in shocking development. Now, they had no European players on the team, and looked like the Indiana Fever new player did speak to the media earlier today. We got some of that footage. Let's roll
this opportunity that'd be coming for you.
Officially Monday. Yeah, Monday, so it was a pretty quick turnaround.
Take me through the emotions of that day, knowing that this was coming your way and that you'd have a chance to play on a team that might need you to play right away.
Yeah, no, I was super excited. It's a blessing, having the journey that I've had and just, remaining faithful, trusting God and doing the work and just to see it all come back around and have this opportunity.
And here's the shocking part. Before this season, Clark had never missed a game in college or the pros. She was basketball's Iron Woman. But now, she's racking up injuries like trading cards, each one worse than the last. Coach Stephanie White keeps saying day to day, with no timetable. Translation: they have no idea when she'll be back. She hasn't even returned to practice. Still stuck running full court drills like someone rehabbing from major surgery.
As Caitlin Clark fans, this is a nasty position to be in. We're dealing with the Indiana Fever telling us that Caitlin Clark is day to day, and we know the Indiana Fevers, Amber Cox, Kelly Crosskoff, Stephanie White are all liars. We can't believe anything the Indiana Fevers say, and we know that. So we have the Fever saying Caitlin Clark is day to day.
Want to know how ugly this has really gotten? Look at the numbers. Since Clark's injury, WNBA viewership is down 55%. Fever TV ratings have crashed 53%. Games that used to pull 1.8 million viewers now barely scrape 847,000. And ticket sales? They've fallen off a cliff. Road game prices slashed anywhere from 47% to 71%. That Chicago Sky matchup that was supposed to be a blockbuster? Tickets went from $86 down to $25 the second Clark was ruled out.
Clark's injury is tanking WNBA ticket prices. The star Indiana Fever guard suffered a quad injury and is expected to miss at least 2 weeks. This comes on the heels of the WNBA and other teams moving games into larger arenas to accommodate Caitlin's fans. And as sports fans, I think we all know that Caitlin Clark is the most popular women's basketball player. In fact, she might be one of the most popular female athletes in the entire world. Ever since she burst into the national consciousness, women's basketball has experienced a rise in popularity. But is it Caitlin? Or is it women's basketball? Per Front Office Sports, get-in tickets for the Fever's rivalry game against the Chicago Sky on June 7th are down 71% from $86 to $20.
Even the WNBA All-Star Game in Clark's own home market of Indianapolis took a hit. Ratings dropped 35% without her. Sure, they spun it as the second most watched All-Star ever. But the reality is brutal. 2.19 million viewers without Clark versus 3.44 million with her the year before. That's not growth, that's dependency.
35%. WNBA ratings down, All-Star game 35% than last year. Yet you're telling me that it doesn't have to do with Caitlin. 35%. It really makes it difficult for fans of the WNBA in general and Caitlin Clark, like myself, to have conversations, to join a Discord, just to I don't know, want to just talk up the WNBA in general when you can't even give Caitlin the props that she deserves.
And now the elephant in the room, the league's failure to protect its star. Clark has been targeted all season long. She's already taken 46 fouls, third most in the WNBA. Out of 30 flagrant fouls called this season, 5 were against her alone. That's nearly 17% of all flagrants on one player in a 144-player league. And the Chicago Sky? They're behind 80% of those calls. Clark has even been caught on camera telling refs she'd call the league office herself if they don't start protecting her. Can you blame her? When you're getting shoved, poked in the eye, and body checked after whistles, and refs treat it like normal contact, it's insanity.
The league has fostered a hostile workplace for Caitlin Clark through excessive fouling, targeting, and hostile comments from other players and owners. These aren't isolated, they're documented, continuing, and ignored by officials. The disparity in treatment invites real scrutiny. Not a single player has been suspended for flagrantly fouling Ms. Clark. Here's where he said a federal investigation should take place. Congress and the admin should demand answers from the W, its leaders, investigate officiating and internal league comms, hold hearings, and insist on real reforms. The Labor Department should review league protocols for workplace safety. If evidence shows discrimination or retaliation, the DOJ's Civil Rights Division must act.
This isn't just physical defense. It's coordinated targeting. Marina Mabry straight up shoved her to the floor after a dead ball. Only got a tech. J.C. Sheldon poked her in the eye. Just a flagrant one. Even Candace Parker admitted it. Generational players get scouted differently. But this isn't defense. This is assault disguised as basketball.
About people being a little physical with Caitlin at that, her last game. Do you feel like she's being treated unfairly, in her games and stuff like that?
I think it's definitely star players aren't ever treated fairly.
Is that kind of what you went through? Because you're considered a legend. Is that just kind of normal about being the rookie? Is that part of it?
I think everybody has a different path. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you
So now the Fever are scrambling. They lost Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald to season-ending injuries, just in time to open up roster spots. Then came the Band-Aid signings. Odyssey Sims, a 33-year-old journeyman who's solid but nowhere near Clark's level. Then Kira Lambert on another 7-day deal. These aren't waiting for Caitlin to heal moves. These are, we're bracing for a future without her moves.
Now, I'm not exactly too sure where Kira Lambert is, and I know what your reaction is. Kira Lambert who? Kira Lambert. minus the 2, divide by 3, add 4. Yeah, I didn't know who Kyra Lambert was either. Kelly, she better be good. Amber, she better be good. That's all I'm going to say. She better come in and be impactful off the jump. That's all I'm going to say. She needs to at least pass the eye test. Okay, maybe she doesn't have a good game, but can she at least pass the eye test so when I watch her, I'm saying to myself, okay, I can see the vision. I can see where we hope that this is going.
Here's the real frustration: the way the Fever and WNBA are handling it. Instead of being upfront, they're feeding fans vague updates, day-to-day, no timetable, continuing to work with the medical team. Translation: we have no clue. If they admitted Clark wasn't coming back this season, viewership would nosedive even harder. But the truth? Clark hasn't looked right all year. Her numbers are brutal: 36.7% shooting overall, 27.9% from 3, and on the road she's 2-4, 35 from deep. That's not a slump, that's a broken body.
But like, she's a 5'9" point guard who averaged 8 points per game in Greece. How shit must Odyssey Sims be? Nah, man, we're not doing this. Oh, I think we're done. I think we're done. I think we're done, man. I think the season's done. Like, we got the 17th best point guard in EuroLeague.
And here's the nightmare scenario. The WNBA has built its future around Caitlin Clark. The $2.2 billion media rights deal starting in 2026, the expansion talks, the push for salary hikes, it's all based on her impact. But what happens if she can't stay healthy? Non-Fever games may be up 37% in viewership this season, but they still only average 549,000. Without Clark, the WNBA's growth engine disappears.
I think that Caitlin Clark's healing can't come soon enough. And looking at the bright side of things, there is still a month left of the season, and I do think that the Indiana Fever are still in a good position, and they can take this and they can turn things around. I think that what Stephanie White has done with the team, given all of the adversity that has happened, is pretty incredible. But I don't want to mince words because I don't necessarily see Kyra Lambert as coming in and saving the day for the Indiana Fever. Now, Lambert did win the Greek League Championship and was the Euro Cup Guard of the Year. So there's a plus.
Look at the Fever's actions, not their words. 2 new point guards. Offensive rotations without Clark. Long-term health talk instead of short-term return dates. This isn't about protecting her for next week. It's about bracing for the possibility her career is already in jeopardy.
Clark's injury is tanking WNBA ticket prices. The star Indiana Fever guard suffered a quad injury and is expected to miss at least 2 weeks. This comes on the heels of the WNBA and other teams moving games into larger arenas to accommodate Caitlin's fans. And as sports fans, I think we all know that Caitlin Clark is the most popular women's basketball player. In fact, she might be one of the most popular female athletes in the entire world. Ever since she burst into the national consciousness, women's basketball has experienced a rise in popularity. But is it Caitlin? Or is it women's basketball? Per Front Office Sports, get-in tickets for the Fever's rivalry game against the Chicago Sky on June 7th are down 71% from $86 to $25.
And maybe that's the most devastating part. Watch Clark on the bench. She doesn't look like someone itching to return. She looks like someone facing the reality that her body may not withstand the WNBA. The refs didn't protect her. The physical targeting broke her down. And now, the Fever are quietly moving on while the league clings to false hope. The uncomfortable truth? Caitlin Clark may never come back as the player we knew. And when we look back, these roster moves will be remembered as the moment we should have seen it coming. The Caitlin Clark era might be over before it truly began.